Hey everybody, Joe Haygood here, aka mclazyj. We're back. Sorry it took so long. We were off on Wednesday because of I went to a game. California Baptist University was playing. Oops, as I try not to move my green screen. I will explain all in a minute. Trust me, this is going to be an interesting stream to say the least. We're going to be playing some Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. And why would we be playing that? Because people are probably saying, oh, that's a game from 2004. Why would you be playing that? And it's because with great fanfare, they finally have announced a sequel to the game, being written and produced, I believe, by the original. Hey, cat. So basically, to explain how this is all going to work, I can't fit my green screen over where my computer is because I have very tight confines. It butts up right against where my dining room table is. So my green screen will not fit. So I had to figure out how exactly am I going to play this. So I have a wireless keyboard and mouse that I plugged into my computer. I have the keyboard sitting in my lap. And I have the mouse to the right of me on a folder resting on the chair of my arm, or the arm of my chair. Let me get that right side forward.
You'll feel better, and you might see me too.
Basically, it means I'm really confined with how I can move right now. It's rather interesting, but we're gonna make it work. But I chose to play this primarily because, as I'm just watching something here, making sure that everything is good. Okay, I just want to make sure I wasn't getting any static. I didn't hear any. But I just wanted to make sure. I'm assuming, I should never assume anything. That's game audio. Okay. So, without further ado, let's get started. I need to put something else, this window back over here, and I need to have this window over here. And we're gonna go with a new game. Now, I gotta switch my glasses. Boy, that's real blurry. Why is mclazyj joining the mclazyj brigade? I have joined the brigade for a long time. Well, whatever. I am basically, the only thing I have done to this is pretty much a stock game with the exception of 2 mods. I do have the unofficial patch with the most recent version, 10.2, which was updated on the 17th of March this year. And I do have, which I think is like 10.2, release candidate 2, version 1, it's some ridiculous name. Anyways, the other thing is I have modded the clothes for the Bruja clan, which is what we will be playing. Because I like to play the Bruja clan. Or I like to play Malkavian. The Malkavians are real fun because they're slightly insane after turning. And their dialogue options are hilarious. Now I'm going to go through these questions, but regardless of where it puts me, we're going to select Bruja. Hey Sev, thanks for the host. And I think my stream alerts are finally working again. Except I don't hear the music because I forgot to put my earpiece in so I could monitor things. So there's that. Anyways, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Stadia and the Bloodlines 2 announcement. But let's get on first with our character creation. We're going to play female. Let's see. While in a club, you spot your ex-roommate who skipped out after taking your stuff and leaving with a stack of bills. He looks dead drunk. You grab him by the head and repeatedly bash his face into the bar, or call the cops. See you in court, buddy. Wow. I would say, truthfully to me, I would probably call the cops. You've been outbid for an auction and for a macabre piece of art that you just must have. You know the collector who won it. You've even been to his house. Do you get a few drinks into him? Persuade him to sell it to you? Wait until he leaves, find the spare key, and make it look like a robbery? Write an unflattering critique on the artist, get it published, and just wait for your friend to try to unload it. That sounds like me. It's late. You're at the red spot, waiting for your microwave burrito to heat up. I'd never eat a microwave burrito. There are 3 arcade games to waste some time on. Which one do you play? The fighting game. Pull off a triple flash uppercut as a finisher every time. That beat 'em up game where you can pick up the bat and whomp on hordes of generic thugs. I'm doing all right. I can't complain, Sev. It's been a good evening. I figured some stuff out that was going wrong for a little bit. Basically, my alerts seemed to be, I think, broken for a bit. And I figured out that Streamlabs had disabled a bunch of them, I guess, during an update. So I'm hoping they're all going to work now. I did see that my host alerts were working, so that's good. That sniper game with the realistic gun for a controller. I'm going to go with the beat 'em up. I like to beat people up with bats in games. That's fun. Let's see. You're in a convenience store looking through the beer freezer when all of a sudden a man walks in and pulls a gun on the cashier. Quietly make your way to the bathroom and lock yourself in. Oh, I like this one though. Beat him senseless. How are you doing, Sev? I clicked the link to go watch your stuff after I had taken care of some things I had to take care of this evening. To sit down because I was like, oh, and I'm drawing a blank, but you were actually playing something I wanted to watch, and then you weren't playing, and I was like, oh, Monster Hunter. You were playing Monster Hunter. And I should probably do my shout outs too here real quick for people that just came in. Savaskir. And shout out Rainbow Bright 07. So you met someone at the club and they took you back to their place. Things start getting interesting when all of a sudden you hear someone come in the front door. Their spouse. Dun dun dun. Do you head to the kitchen, let them see you, pretend you're a distant cousin, and they were nice enough to let you stay on the couch. Gather up your clothes, hide behind the door, and slip out of the apartment as quietly as possible. Calmly explain that you had no idea they were married and that you intend to leave and never come back, keeping your finger over the speed dial just in case you need the police. Time to slip out. Oh, Rainbow left. I know. Cat was there a minute ago. Gone. You were mugged last night. It wasn't life-threatening, but you want to take some measures to make sure that if it happens again, you aren't defenseless. Do you? Sign up for a martial arts class. Next time they try it, you'll break their spine. Oh, you left the chat though. That's why it looked like your chat stuff had gone away. My bad. I apologize. Twitch gets weird like that sometimes, so my bad. It's normally when somebody's in the room and they're watching the stream, it shows up. See, like now you just popped up with, now there's a bunch of bots that just popped up too. That's how it goes. Start carrying a knife and conceal it in your belt. The next person who tries breathes through a hole in their neck. Buy a gun. Next mugger is sidewalk meat. Martial arts class. As you walk home late night, you hear footsteps, glance back, and suddenly realize someone is following you. Do you turn to confront them? Duck behind a tree to lose them. Yeah, you always confront them. On Friday, you left a drunken rant on your boss's voicemail. Whoops. On Saturday, that's like hitting reply all nowadays. On Saturday, you sober up and realize you had to erase it no matter what. What do? You know the side door card reader is broken. You can probably be hacked. All you need to do is slip in, erase the message, and sneak out. You're an employee. Just show the security guard your badge, ask him about a sports team, laugh, walk in, erase the message, say have a good one, buddy, and walk out. Most definitely. If you could learn one martial art, would it be karate or kendo, Japanese fencing? Karate. The world is a cruel and unforgiving place, but you've gotten by so far. Why? God, I don't remember there being this many questions in the beginning. This reminds me of the sequel, the second Elder Scrolls game. Oh, what was that? Blood Moon? Oh God, I can't even remember now. But it asks you like all these questions, same type of thing. Someone gets in my way, I kick their ass. That's why. I live alone. I don't need others. Just me, my dog, and to hell with the rest. Yeah, that's not true. So I'll go with the first one. Hey, look, and we did get the Bruja clan. I don't have to manually select it after all. Which is nice. So we've been embraced by the Bruja clans. Called by some a clan of violent brutes and mindless street thugs. The Bruja have been known to tangle, but they are a proud clan who fight for freedom in life and death, and put their combat abilities to use whenever necessary. Your vampire's attributes and abilities have now been determined and entered into its character sheet, which you will see next. After a tour of the character sheet, you may make changes to the character or simply play it as it is. So perception, we have, okay, so little wits. Dexterity, or strength, stamina, yeah, that's about right. You put stuff into finance, melee, firearms, brawl, dodge, intimidation. I would have chosen intimidation. I think. Okay, I have 3 points to spend. Okay, yes, yes, yes. Okay. Too many of those. You get killed, and I believe the game ends. So I want to take that off, and I want to put it into computers. Okay, so yeah, I think I want the computer knowledge, I think, because that's for hacking, which can be kind of important in the long run. So other than that, that's cool. Oh, I have to name the character. I forgot. Can't be unnamed. And I almost ended up clicking the wrong keyboard to do this. Okay, now we can accept it. I have charisma. I keep wanting to take something out of wits and put it into charisma, but that's all right. Oops. Did I just... Okay, there we go, 100%. Okay, so everything looks good there. I'm hoping. Oh man. My leg is itching me right now. Okay, so let's go and accept our character. And enjoy the embrace. There's what's going on. I couldn't hear any sound earlier, but I had muted things. So this is the new skin that I've put on for the Bruja. All the other clans will have the native skins. I only changed the one that I'm playing as. Oh, damn. Yeah, I know. It was one of those things I'm like, God, I saw the sound bouncing, but I didn't hear it. And I'm like, what's going on?
We're interfering with prior engagements you may have had this evening. It's unfortunate that the affair that gathers us together tonight is a troubling one. We are here because the laws that bind our society, the laws that are the fabric of our existence, have been broken. As Prince, I am within my rights to grant or deny...
No, I did not modify that costume. That was the way it was.
Many of you have come to me seeking permission, and I have endorsed some of these requests. However, the accused that sits...
I never posted on, whatchamacallit.
Indeed, my permission was never sought at all.
On Twitter that I was playing. I should probably go do that.
It pains me to announce the sentence, as up to tonight I consider the accused a loyal and upstanding...
No, I just put a note I was behind schedule.
But as some of you may know, the penalty for this transgression is death. Know that I am no more adjudicator than I am a servant to the law that governs us. Let tonight's proceedings serve as a reminder to our community.
I'm just posting some stuff to Twitch or Twitter real quick.
Lest we endanger all.
Okay,
Forgive me.
that's fine.
Let the penalty commence.
Yes, so if you're unaware, that just happened. The masquerade
Which leads to the fate of the
is the fact that that vampires are supposed to blend into society.
child or are doomed to walk the
If you don't blend into society
responsibility
and you do it enough times, you suffer the fate
laws they must obey.
of the Camarilla,
Therefore,
the guys that enforce the masquerade, and you get your head cut off. This is bullshit.
if Mr. Rodriguez would let me finish, I have decided to let this kindred live. They shall be instructed in the ways of our kind and be granted the same rights. Let no one say I am unsympathetic to the plights and causes of this community. I thank you all for attending these proceedings, and I hope their significance is not lost.
So yes, this was a meeting of the Camarilla, and basically they were getting to see the trial, or what little trial there was.
My apologies.
Essentially, it was someone just getting
Code of conduct
wasted.
that all of us must adhere to.
Will do. You can have them take it now if you want.
Anyone breaks these laws, they undermine the well-worn fabric of our
So, some people might know that I did take my kid to the ER, or my wife actually did it. I shouldn't say I did it. My wife was the person that actually did it. Took Seth to the ER. We were worried. He was having real bad stomach pains this morning.
but the opportunity to
And and we found out that it was swollen lymph nodes in his abdomen, which I guess apparently is common for kids, you know, in their teens and stuff. So that was the other thing that was kind of neat about this, although most of the places in this game are very fake, is the fact that it does take place in the LA area. God, I love this game so much. So yes, they announced Bloodlines today, Bloodlines 2, which is obviously why I'm playing Bloodlines. Now we are playing with the unofficial patch, the 10.2 version by Wesp. There used to be a big deal with two factions that were making unofficial patches for this game.
What a scene, man. Woo-wee. Then they just plop you out here like a naked baby in the
It's Bender, I believe.
Look, kiddo, it's probably a lot for you to take in, so why don't you let me show you the ropes? What do you say?
Yeah. Who are you?
I'm Jack. What's important is I'm offering help. You make it back from Santa Monica with your hide and we'll trade life stories, okay? Till then, I got about this much time. You in or out?
Yeah, what happened in there?
I'd love to.
No, they're not going to be small. Anyways, they also gave him some Motrin to help with the inflammation and the swelling. And it'll help you sleep, buddy. Sorry for the back chatter, but my kid doesn't like to take big pills, apparently. Anyways, as I was saying, Bloodlines 2 was announced today. It was great. I was very excited if you saw on Twitter. Just a second. I'm going to mute something. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. That's fine. Go ahead and go to bed, Mama. Dang it. This is the problem with having a mouse to the right of me and a mouse in front of me. And yeah, he's doing all right. I have been very worried about him because he's had some stomach issues going on for a little while now. He gets kind of sick at certain points, like throws up. They are going to do some tests on him, some gastro tests. I'm not going to really get too deep into it because, hey, I'm the only one that can be disgusting on this stream about their gastrointestinal stuff. So, but, you know, I was a bit worried that he was showing severe signs of Crohn's disease. And that's what those tests are going to hopefully rule out. I got a tough denim jacket. So, but he's doing well. But thank you. Also, I am working on beefing up the Discord and getting some more people in there. Dang it, I keep doing that. I keep pressing the one on the wrong keyboard. So, you know, I'm going to start trying to be more regular in there and posting. And maybe I'll just be talking to myself. That's okay. Oh, yeah, and I don't have my light on, so you guys probably can't see. Oh, before you go, can you turn that light on for me, please? Hold on, I need to yell at my kids some more real quick. Okay, I didn't want you to hear you yelling at my kids, so there's that. So, yeah, that was probably helpful. That was the one my laptop's plugged into. Okay, so
Go down there casually. You creep up on him. You bare those little fangs and feed. Don't worry if you weren't captain of the wrestling team or something.
So this was a game that I felt was ahead of its time, Bloodlines, when it came out, 2004. It was originally done. Here's a little thing that's funny about it, is it was done.
Forget that comic book crap shit. Don't work that way. Now go for it. Be sure though. Important, so listen up. Be sure not to drain them dry, okay? It might be hard to resist, but don't.
It was supposed to come out in 2003. And it didn't. And the reason being is that this game was one of the first games to be made with the Source engine. And it was ready to come out, except there was one little problem. It couldn't be the first Source game that came out because that had to be Half-Life 2. And Half-Life 2 was behind schedule. Okay, so we're supposed to be going to... what? Oh, man, this is... Why can't I use the WASD keys to... Okay, there we go. Feeding on humans... And let's make our getaway as we have fed on the human. There used to be, I thought, a rat that you could feed on over here too that was kind of gross. Oh, maybe that's what it is. The wireless is kind of on my keyboard is cutting out. So, yeah, Half-Life 2 got delayed by a year. Remember, they had that big leak or hack, and a bunch of stuff got out on the web, and they were like, hey, we can't have that. So, when do I get to pick my color? My cape and color and everything. So when that happened, they basically told the guys at Troika, hey, you can't put your game out because Half-Life 2 has to come out and that has to be the first Source engine game. So it ended up coming out the same day as Half-Life in 2004. Yeah, like what? And of course, that was kind of a bad and a bum rap. Coming out the same day meant Half-Life 2 got a lot of the recognition, and Vampire Bloodlines got, ooh, excuse me, squat. Including from me.
Forget the books and the movies. Garlic, it's worthless. A cross, shove it right up their ass. A steak, only if it catches you in the heart, and then it just paralyzes you. Running water, it's wrong. Now, a shotgun blast in the head. That's trouble. Fire, that's real trouble. Sunlight, well, you catch a sunrise and it's all over, kiddo. Get it?
Got it.
Okay, now. The fuck is this?
That doesn't sound good. Okay, you go do that, my man. So, I have to get upstairs. I don't think I can get anything in here. Uh-oh. Aw, dang, I just fell. There we go. Yay, we got upstairs. I am still having some controlling issues. But we'll get it. We'll get there. We'll get past it all. Alright, so we need to go get the lockpick. Which we have picked up.
Come down here.
Hey, it's Jack.
It's a
So yeah, it came out, and hey, I'm one of the guilty parties. I bought Half-Life 2 the day it came out, and I started reading some chatter about this game, and I remembered I liked what Troika had done, if I remember correctly, with Arcanum, or maybe it was just the people that worked on, that became Troika worked on that one. Oh, the Sabbat. Oh, the Sabbat. They're idiots. They're real dumb. They'll rush head first straight into gunfire, knowing that we just found out gunfire can kill you if you get shot in the head.
The Sabbat got wind of the gathering here, so they figured they'd raise a little hell and put a little heat on the news.
And the Sabbat don't care about the rules the same way that, let's say, a lot of the other kindred do. Anyways, yeah, I was part of the problem. I waited for a little bit. I remembered Arcanum. I liked it. It was an RPG. This was very different, though. And, you know, so... What's the prince a prince of?
Time for political rundown. Job 1, get out of here alive. Sabbat might be mindless, but they hit
Excuse me. Excuse me, indeed. That was... So anyways, game comes out. I think I got it maybe a month later. I was in the mall. I saw it at the end of the kiosk. Yeah, Arcanum was great. It was an awesome game. This was just very different. This was a very different game from that, you know? And so I was very unsure about it, you know, because it's like, okay... And remember, this was a sequel to a game, Vampire the Masquerade Redemption, in 1991. Or, I'm sorry, 1999. Which was good. It was different. It was very different from this, though. Because it was more of you had a squad that you worked with. And, you know, so it was different. So, you know, you had to kind of deal with that. That it was like, oh, this is more like, hey, first to third person. It was a lot more combat focused. You didn't have a party. Oh, damn. Dang. That went poorly.
dumb, frenzied Sabbat bastards. All right, we gotta vamoose out the back quick.
And, you know, so basically you had this sequel that was very different. Okay, I'm on it. All right, Jihad for beginners. So we have 4 areas in the game too. We have downtown, which is where we're at. We're supposed to get to Santa Monica. At some point later, we will get to Hollywood, and then we will finally get to Chinatown. And we have our character sheet. We have our info, which tells us a little bit about our character. This is not, like I said, this is not the default skin. I went ahead and downloaded a mod pack for the skins for the Bruja. And then we have our quest log, which is what we're looking at right now. We have to get out of here. We have to obtain entry into this office that we looked through the window here. So, now I could smash the window open. If I had something to smash it, I could punch the window and open it. That's what it was, Z. I was like, man, I have to remember what key. Door at the end of the hallway, I think. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so. Yeah, maybe that's not gonna work. Hey, we opened it. I know there is a crouch, I think, somewhere. I just don't remember what it is. So, oh, so he just decided to break the window and come in, maybe.
Well, nicely done, though. Not exactly an angel in life, were you? Cool. Now, if you want a lesson on
So,
take notes for
I finally got the game. Like I said, after I started reading some critical reviews of it, I was like, okay, I gotta check this out. I bought it, and then, of course, as most gamers do, you're buying a bunch of games at that time of year, later in the year. And it sat on the bottom of the list, because it's like, I got Half-Life 2 to play. I'm gonna play Half-Life 2.
It's the same reason you don't.
You know, I had Team Fortress Classic I wanted to play.
Why the wolf doesn't want the sheep to know he's there. It's also why you don't go.
And then I finally got into it. And I was like, number one, blown away by the models in this, because I was like, okay, Half-Life looks okay, but I thought the models in this game looked a lot better than Half-Life 2's models. And more importantly, I'm going to espout something that could be considered heresy. I wasn't a huge fan of Half-Life 2's story. I really wasn't. I know that's like, you know, high level blasphemy, but it never really resonated with me. We're living in the age of cell phone cameras. Fuck ups ain't tolerated.
That party back there with the guy in the suit and the Magilla gorilla, the assholes that put your sire to death, that's the Camarilla. They make a tidy business.
So
Vampire laws like this.
I really found myself enjoying it. I was like, okay, I like the story. I like the grittiness of it. I like the fact that not everything's cut and dry. I like the fact that,
I'll tell you what I think some other time, maybe. I like to let people form their own opinion.
the fact that there were whole missions and stuff that you could just completely bypass and miss, and you know, just kind of float over and do other things. It was interesting.
All right, now don't
You know, it wasn't perfect.
I'm glad we're in this.
As a matter of fact, when I first played it, they had one official patch, the 1.2 patch for the game. Oh, and by the way, we're using the version that was purchased through Good Old Games. The reason being is when you try to mod the unofficial patch into the Steam one, you have to turn off updates. At least at one point you used to. I don't know if that's the same now. But I tend to just keep my Steam version uninstalled, and I install it from Good Old Games because, hey, it was like $4.99 to buy the game. As a matter of fact, I think it may even be $4.99 right now. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go check. And I'm going to get a link for you real quick. Don't worry, I am not getting any money from this. I don't have an affiliate link. I just think more people should own this game if at all possible. Oh wow, they already have pre-orders for Bloodlines up on Good Old Games. 89, 90 bucks for the Super Ultra Deluxe Edition. Yes, Vampire Bloodlines right now, literally 75% off of its normal price. It is $4.99 during their spring sale. The game is on sale for $4.99. And there's not a huge modding community. There's one community now that really does put out a lot of updates to their unofficial patch, and that would be Wesp. He's been putting out patches for this game since about, I think, a year after it came out. There used to be 2 different factions that would mod the game. They used to argue with each other all the time. If you ever go into some of the old Steam forums... Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that, Cat. Hopefully it wasn't anything I said. I'm hoping I didn't pull a trigger or something. But it was one of those games, it looked so good. Well, these 2 factions, they would argue with each other. Because the one was like, I am the true patch. And the other team would be like, no, we're the true patch. And it was like a big argument back and forth. They had some philosophies in how they would patch the game. The West patch does take unused content and kind of mod it into the game that they've found through the source code and the source files. What's the anxiety about? Let's talk about it if you feel up to it. Maybe I can help calm your nerves. Yes, you can have serious violations, including getting your head cut off, and the game will end, I believe. I have never gotten that point. I've never seen exactly what happens. I always just inferred that, and I've tried to be a good vampire. By the way, if you ever want a challenge in this game, remember... The idea is you're supposed to stay invisible, don't bring attention to yourself. If you play as a Nosferatu, if you play as a Nosferatu, you are very disfigured. You cannot be seen in public. If you are seen by a human, it automatically starts adding to your masquerade warning levels. So it is an extreme challenge because you have to use the sewers to get everywhere. Gotcha. Did it work better now? Like they couldn't get your blood pressure anywhere? Like I know sometimes if you if you are a person that is overweight, they will sometimes use your lower arm. It doesn't work as well. You don't get as good a reading. That's why they don't like doing that. But sometimes if they don't have a big... you know what, Cat? I know nothing I am going to say about this is going to change it because anesthesia is a scary thing. People react differently. You've just recently had someone that passed away. It's fresh in your mind. I get it. Yes, I do remember you telling me about the liver enzyme thing. Anesthesia is fairly safe. As coming from someone that has had surgery, a 7.5-hour surgery in their life. Sorry, my foot itches. If my green screen starts popping off, I apologize, but I had to itch my foot. It was a mess. Also, by the way, if you buy this on Good Old Games, they actually patch in the updated patch automatically. Oh wow, that's weird. Okay, well, let's see. It's locked and I don't have a lockpick. Password is Chop Shop. Ah, look at these. Yes, he did. Or I know he got it. Gotta love those old DOS commands. But like I said, I had to go under anesthesia for 7.5 hours. Actually, I wasn't even prepared for that. I went in for a surgery that was supposed to take 45 minutes. And when they cut me open, the surgeon was like, oh, damn. So, anxiety, I get it. You just had to have anesthesia last year. You general surgery, right? You had full-on anesthesia, right? Yeah.
I think they had the thing right here.
Tammy just had it as well.
The thing right here, like.
Yeah, they just said they still had a hard time with it.
Yeah, they had a cuff up here.
Yeah, Tammy had to have one on her lower arm, and it seemed to work okay. But the other thing is if you're nervous or if your blood pressure gets low on the low side. Matter of fact, I've had it when I've been in there, and they wouldn't give me pain medication because they said your blood pressure's too low. Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying you have it. I'm just saying I get it. That sometimes can be a real bad thing. Take it. I got the Chop Shop key.
There we go. Now take that key card and head out the back. I'll meet you out in the alley there. I'm gonna check out things from topside.
Okay, got it. We can do that. So yeah, don't, I like I said, again, I know nothing I say is going to change how you feel. That's just how it is. So I get that. I can't change how you're going to feel. All you can do is the best that you can and hope that it all comes through and that, everything turns out okay. It may not.
I just had a 5-hour surgery, so.
Yeah, Tammy's surgery was like 5 hours. It was crazy. They actually didn't get started right away. We actually had to go back. Like when we thought it was gonna be done, it's like, nope, we're taking an extra hour. But yeah, I know he died when he went in for surgery, and that's I could see that being a thing. Like I said, I remember when I was a kid, I used to freak out every time they'd go to put me under, and I'd be like, "Wake me up if you think I'm gonna die," which is the dumbest thing you can do because it's like,
They don't know that you're gonna die.
no, it's not even that. Why would you want to be woken up if you're split open? But that's not what's going through your mind as a kid. Oh, damn.
The lady woke up out of a surgery and she had like her
Jack, fuck that dude up.
neck was like open.
Oh no, I've been wounded. I need to get some. Now, the one thing I am curious about.
Have more at 5 a.m.
Okay. The one thing I am curious about is while Good Old Games has done a hell of a job modifying this game and cleaning it up, I'm curious if they put out a remastered version of this game when it gets closer to Bloodlines 2 coming out. Because I would love to see like a, 4K up-res.
You get winged? Hey, look at them potholes. Those will close up soon enough. Better feed though. There's someone down the stairs here. It's not the freshest catch, but he'll do. Now, when it comes to feeding, it's quality blood you're looking for, not the quantity. Bums and lowlives don't pack the same punch that a healthy, well-bred human will. Juice bags with a pedigree. That's the good stuff. But you gotta take what you can get.
Yeah, I know. It's tough. It's a tough surgery. Tammy's. There was a brief time when Tammy thought about doing it, and she's like, "No, I just kind of want to do it the natural way." And
What I said though, don't kill them.
it's easy to kind of want to do the surgery. I hope it works out. I hope everything goes well this time. I'm more worried. The funny thing is, I don't think people worry enough about the after surgery. It's like, oh yeah, you'll only be able to eat like what 2-3 ounces at a time.
An innocent's an innocent. You kill one, even a worthless bum, even by accident, and it's gonna cost you a piece of your own.
Yes, and that's the other thing. You have a humanity rating in this game. The more acts that you do, like if you drain people to death, etc., you lose humanity. If your humanity goes all the way to the top, you become a mindless savage. End game. Done. The Beast.
Beast, it's always there, waiting to take over.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I don't know if enough people do, because it's a significant lifestyle change when you have that. I've only known, I'm trying to think, I think I've only known like one person, maybe two, that have had bariatric surgery. And one was, I don't remember if it was a staple or a part of the stomach was removed. I think my wife's grandmother had it, and it was a staple or a band. No, I think it was staples. But, the other thing is, over time, the stomach's a muscle. You keep eating, slowly over time, your stomach's going to start expanding, and you will start absorbing more calories, and you'll be back to where you were. It's just the science of the stomach as a muscle. I can't kill anyone.
I said innocent humans.
If some asshole levels a 12 gauge your way, you drain him.
And bash in his skull. Self-preservation is a vital part of humanity after all. My favorite part, in fact. The only way to fight the beast.
But yeah, I really hope they put out like, hey, as a bonus, here's like 4K, new textures. Just make this game look rockin' as shit. I am so down for something like that. I don't think it'll happen. But man, I would be down as fuck for that. And make it like a tie you over bonus. Like, hey, the game's coming out in 6 months. Oh, by the way, here's this badass shit. What's up, buddy? And you notice this guy's draining a lot faster than the other one did. Again, it comes down to that if you feed, if the worse the stock is.
Think I'm kidding? You can survive feeding on animals if you can stomach that kind of thing. Well, give it a try.
Okay, so I need to find some rats. Not down there. There it is. And no, you don't use any humanity for draining a rat. They're not human. The other person, like I said, I don't know if they had their stomach removed, but I mean, the whole time I remember her just being like eating super small portions, like could barely finish like you know, like you know, a McDonald's hamburger. She'd eat like half the hamburger and a small portion of the fries, and it's like, that's it. And I think this was like 5-10 years after her surgery. But I guess if you stick with it, then you know, I guess your stomach won't grow, and you know, it'll just kind of stay that size. But like my wife's grandmother, she ended up gaining all the weight back because slowly over time, as she kind of pushed the stomach and pushed the boundaries, it started growing and growing, and then next thing you know, you're back to eating the same way you were.
Keep it down. Got someone around the way here. Not too much of a threat by himself, but you never know if there's more in shouting range. You're gonna have to sneak past. The building
Okay.
across from us with the garage door. There's some double doors on the far side. I'll meet you inside. Just stay low and stick to the shadows. And
But yeah, I get it. I get the fear and thing. I mean, last year when I had my surgery, I will tell this story. I had to go back to the hospital about 4 or 5 days after I got out. I had a real bad fever that kind of came on. My temperature wasn't going down. I felt nauseous. I just didn't feel good. And when you've had surgery and you get a fever afterwards, it doesn't want to go down. You get nauseous. You know, the first thing you think of is sepsis. You know, you have an infection internally. They take it very seriously when you come back in 2-3 days after a discharge from surgery and you come in with like 102, 103 degree fever. They get real serious, like, hey, you may have a problem. I mean, they're immediately taking blood, checking WBCs. They want to know what that white blood count is. They're getting you into x-ray real fast. We need to see if we see anything, or CAT scan real fast. Anyways, the whole way over to the hospital, I was freaking the fuck out. I was scared to death on the way over there. To the point now, how do I crouch again? I gotta remember. See, I should have paid attention to what that guy said. Crouch. Control. That's what I missed. You know what? Before we go too far. Whoops. Stick to the shadows. Stick to the shadows. Uh-oh. Okay, okay. Well, I thought I did. Maybe because I entered the light? I'm trying to figure out. Okay, let's wait here for a second. We'll see what happens. I'm trying to remember. I think he walks around. And I think that's what happened. See, he's not moving from over there. I gotta get around this corner at some point. Problem is this damn street light. All right, there we go.
Keep it quiet. They're inside here. Seems that shovelhead outside just got separated from his pack. He's wounded too. Go take care of him. Don't worry. He's probably greener than you. The Sabat, you see, they don't have the most rigorous training program.
But I do hope that it all goes well. I hope, you know, I would like to see. I want to see people that want to make changes. You know, it's always good. But like I said, anyways, I was freaking out on that trip to the ER, and I mean, I started babbling like crazy to my wife in the car. How I didn't want to leave her alone. I was afraid if I went into the hospital, I wasn't coming back out. You know, and I mean, I kind of had a mini breakdown in the car because I was like, I had just gotten out of the hospital. I just had my gallbladder removed. It seems like every time I have lost more parts than I have gained over the last few years, or over the last 20 years of my life or so. Anyways, I freaked the fuck out.
He is a vampire, so be ready.
I was born ready. 'Cause I got 5 on it. Alright, so... Okay, I got my fists ready. Hell yeah! And we get a tire iron. Who doesn't want the tire iron? We'll go around. Oh. What the hell does my shirt say?
That's that. Sounds like you got another pack moving in, though. The Sabat
And I had problems for a good while after I went to the hospital that day where I was like, I wasn't sleeping well at night. And I still get this occasionally where I freak out like I'm going to not wake up from going to bed. When you've had health issues and when you are not healthy, you have real bad thoughts go through your head. Okay, why aren't you letting me select you? There you go.
Keep that tire iron handy. I'll be there in a minute.
I want to know what my shirt says. Bitch, if I was nice. Okay. Okay. This indicates a presence response and blood cost. This indicates a persuasion, seduction, or intimidation.
You! Just stay back. Keep your distance. Now,
Let's
who
talk.
the hell are you? You involved in all this? Because I'm gonna raid
No
this
worries.
and SWAT will be all over this place. Thank you? Look, lady, I don't know what you want, but I'm not about to take a bullet for this job. Yeah, okay. Alright, this way. This will lead us up to the warehouse. We can maybe sneak out that way.
I will say... Snap!
Not sure what's going on. Sounds like the Sabbat's getting scattered. I'm gonna keep an ear to the ground. Be careful going forward here. Could be a whole mess of them holed up.
The more the merrier. Bruja have 3 unique disciplines. Okay, we have potence, colossal vampiric strength, celerity, supernatural speed, and presence. The mystical projection of personality inspiring fear and awe. Presence is the power to mystically project your personality. Presence is a passive discipline. Once you activate it, pay attention to the discipline timer on the bottom right of your screen. Use of presence is not a masquerade violation. Okay.
I think they're clearing out. There's no need to go stirring up the hornet's nest till we know the score, though. Head through here. Come to an elevator.
Now. Okay, I'll meet you over there.
Meet you there. Don't let them catch you.
Okay, use of potence. Potence. Do we basically get super strength when we do that? Celerity. Use of celerity levels 2 through 5 is a masquerade violation. Do not use it in masquerade areas. Okay. Oh shit. How dare you? Isn't this where I just came from? There we go. Snuck out without too much problems there at the very end.
I'm here thinking it's Sabbat moving up in here. It's the fucking locals about to take one for the hood. They probably seen too much. Here, take this 38. Fucking pea shooter, but a few shots.
And now I have a gun.
Well, I'm gonna want it back, so don't go die and lose it. I don't use guns much. They're noisy, they're clumsy, practically useless against vampires, but still, a kindred's gotta keep up with the times. And in modern day Los Angeles, That means coming strapped. Well, yeah, some are more lethal than others, of course. Watch out for those shotguns. Ouch, those things can smart, I tell you.
Hell yeah, street howitzers for the win.
Head up and clear out what's left of them. Can't have them running their mouths.
So, anyways, I really love this game. I think it's amazing. I think the graphics still hold up today. I mean, yeah, the hair is a little weird, but I think that they still get some facial expressions going. I think that the eyes still look really good. Let's see. Let's block. I need to remember how to shoot. There we go. Okay, that's how we do it. Time to drink some blood. Okay. Oh shit. Oh damn. Oh shit, why isn't my wireless keyboard is occasionally causing me grief? Where'd that other dude go? I want to beat the shit out of that guy with a baseball bat. Oh, there he is.
That's it, kiddo. Just like that, and it's all over. Everyone slinks back to their corners of the city for the night.
But I hope that if you don't own the game, and by the way, being that it is very old, you do not need a super, fancy PC to use this. And if you buy the good old games version, it comes with the unofficial patch and the widescreen modification patch, and it'll support resolutions up to, I believe it would support up to, I think it was up to 3880 by, or 3840 by whatever, most high def resolutions. No, that does not mean that it is in a high def and 4K, but I'm just saying it supports resolutions that high.
Well, to be honest, you came at an interesting...
So, it is interesting. It is a very good game. It'll probably take you about 15-20 hours to finish, maybe 25 if you really want 100% everything. It's a game that back in the day I wish would have had achievements, because it would have been a 1,000 achievement game for me. And I've played through it probably about 4 or 5 times at this point to completion. And sometimes I've gone in and dabbled, like I'll start up a game and I'll be like, oh, you know, I want to see. Like, I remember I tried to do a Nosferatu run once, and I was like, nope.
Oh, boy. Oh, I think they're looking for you outside. Guess you got a cab to catch. Was hoping to fill you in on a little.
That's how it is nowadays. I know that CNET has been talking up a lot of these TCL screens, which I was hesitant to buy.
If you make it back, stop in at the last round. It's this bar downtown here. I'll fill you in on the politics. Now that's the stuff that'll kill you.
And you know, I'm amazed, and the price are fantastic on those things. Best Buy seems to have them for killer deals all the time. All right. Prince Lacroix. I'm telling you. Those things, there are certain ones. You might want to make sure that I would go over to CNET and look, but man, they have raved like motherfuckers about those TCL screens. And they're good. I mean, they really get good reviews.
The whereabouts of the crew, though the Coast Guard are asking any ships that had contact with the Elizabeth Dane to assist them in their search. We'll have more on this story as it breaks. In other news, an apparent third victim of the Southland slasher has prompted the closing of the Santa Monica Pier, where the body was found earlier tonight. Investigators say the scene closely mirrors those of slayings in Glendale and Long Beach. In both cases, the bodies of the victims were described as torn apart, though details are being withheld from the public at this time. Police urge...
Turn that off. You also have a radio in your thing that you can listen to that's kind of neat.
You're up way past your bedtime, aren't you? Hope you've slipped into something comfortable. I know I have. If you're new to town or just new to this whole radio thing, you're listening to The Deb of Night, the only girl who will spend...
At your convenience, come visit me in my home downtown. I leave this to guide you. Dark blood, our curse, alight this verse. Such power I sense in one so young. Come find me where burns the mystical sun. M. Strauss, Tremere Regent. Password for your computer is Sunrise. Keep the cash in the drawer. It's yours. I dropped you an email with my address. Come over after you get settled. Mercurio. Huh, $100. Can't complain there. Let's log into the computer. Password required. Oh, Jesus Christ. Why didn't I look at the password? Sunrise, that's right. Yeah, he's got a sense of humor. Whoops. A reminder. Let's read email 1. Mercurio will contact you when you arrive in Santa Monica. Waste no time in meeting with him, SL. Let's go to next. Dang, it's big, you know. Penis enlargement. Watch the girls come running. Looking for that lazy ass ex-husband who's late on his alimony payments. How about that jerk who knocked you up? Look no further. With Arthur Kilpatrick's amazing crime pewter, you can find almost anyone with a record. And these days, that's just about everyone. Gotcha. Yeah, like I said, they've been getting good reviews everywhere. You know, I just happen to listen to CNET Tech podcasts on a weekly basis, and they really talk the shit up on that on those screens. They're just like, they have great performance. Some of them they say are a little feature light. You know, nothing terrible. But that if you need a good, solid, reliable set with good color contrast, with good quality, with nice blacks, that kind of stuff, they said you cannot go wrong. Those 49-inch TCLs, I mean, they were coming in on Black Friday last year, you know, almost at the 200 mark, and that's insane for a 4K 49-inch television that has really good performance. That is nuts. Hey, welcome to town. Come on over to my place once you get situated, and we'll talk about what you'll need to get the job done. I'm going to pick up explosives right now, some Astrolite. I should be back by the time you come over. I'm at 24 Main Street in number 4. Walk to the end of the alley, and my building is the next one on the right. The game begins. A pawn is moved. Okay, so what do we got in here? Pill bottle. Why I would take pills, I have no idea. That's a gross looking mattress. The Carnival of Death. The gruesome remains found on the pier. Police are baffled. Oh, those silly police. Also, remember when the paper was 25 cents? Okay. I want to have bloodbath. Bloodbath enabled. Oops. Oh yeah, I would have had to have hit E to put it back down. Oh wait a minute. You know what? Go back upstairs. I am in 508, right? Yes. Now you're probably asking, why are you checking where you're at? Because I have a mailbox. And it is imperative you check that on a regular basis because there are times when things show up in that mailbox. Now, there was one other thing I wanted to talk about today. Hey, I used to read the newspaper cover to cover back in the day. When I was on disability, and when your schedule pretty much turns out to be the same thing every day because you live in a city where you don't really have too many friends, but you live there because you can afford it on disability, you tend to find things to do with your spare time. And one of the things I did was read the newspaper, cover to cover every section with the exception of the classifieds. Anyways, moving forward. Okay, so say this is A.
Hey, lady. You got some change, lady? That's very nice. Thank you.
You never know when somebody might be able to help us out later with information. Oh, that don't look bueno. That looks very unbueno. Well, you know, sometimes there is something about sitting down, opening the newspaper, reading it. The problem is nowadays, Like, I was amazed. I went and picked up the paper the other day. I saw there was something about, you know, the super bloom and allergies and this and that. And I was like, oh man, I want to kind of read that. You know, completely ignoring the fact that I could have gone to their website and read the story. But I decided I wanted to support, you know, the local newspaper. I figured, hey, I'm going to pick up a copy of this. I'm going to read it. And I was like, boy, there's like little to nothing left to the newspaper anymore.
What time is it? Nothing. Nothing. Just waiting for a friend to get off work. He's a police officer.
Hold on, me buddy.
He should be bringing his dog as well. It's a Rottweiler. Wonderful attack dogs, they are. Afraid I'm a little short on cash right now. I'm so sorry. I'm happily married to my work. And I have a wife, too. Afraid I'm a little short on cash right now. I'm so sorry.
All right. I think later I can persuade that dude. Ah. Oh, I'm not going to fall asleep. But the other thing in the title of my stream here is the Stadia. Google announced. Uh-oh. That don't look good, does it? That's where we saw that guy stumbling around. Seems like a bad waste of blood. I think I am just hitting the range of my wireless keyboard, or because I have it on my lap, it's getting the signal blocked a little bit. Every now and then it stops responding. The mouse is high enough that it's got a clear line of sight, but the keyboard does not. And I have, my wife has a puzzle table here that's made out of wood that might be kind of interfering with it. Can't get in there. Oh, damn. Homie. You're in a bad way.
Those mothers ripped me off. I'm dying here.
Are you Mercurio?
Yeah. You looking for the astrolite? I can feel a draft on my fucking insides. They shanked me, the bastards. The blood ain't working no more. My head, it feels cracked. Oh, I think my eyes popped.
Yep, stay with me.
I went. What is this lump? Is this my rib? Oh, holy shit. My rib is poking through my side? Oh, I'm all numb. You gotta look and tell me. Goddamn chemist. Can't trust any operators in LA.
So, anyways, the Stadia was announced. Google had their big presentation. It was one of the worst kept secrets in the history of secrets. Well, not the worst kept, but you know, we knew that they had something gaming related coming. We knew that they were going to talk about it at GDC. The idea was people were thinking it was a console of some kind, all that, and it wasn't. It was a cloud-based streaming service, but in a twist of it, you access it through an app on your computer, on a tablet, on your TV, you know, wherever the app can be downloaded. And they have a controller that they're selling. Now, you don't have to use it. Any HID compliant USB controller will work. But the reason that they're kind of nudging you towards using their controller is the controller is wireless. So it can seamlessly transition throughout your house between devices. You can start playing the game on your TV.
Hold on. You think I'm some amateur? I got their number.
Ooh, God, I got a case of the yawns. I'm not tired, but I do have a case of the yawns. Like, I'm not falling asleep. because the controller is wireless, it's not connected to any specific device. It's just connected to your Wi-Fi network. So if you start playing the game on your TV and then you want to play it on the computer, you can transition seamlessly between the two devices, or to your phone. You know, all these different ways, and that's cool. I like the concept of that. I like the concept of the service. I like the fact that they're going big. You know, the idea that it's like, you know, that they're like, hey, 4K, 60 frames a second. You know, with the ability to go up to 8K. The fact that the instances can do 10.6 teraflops, which is more than both current Pro consoles combined can do. The Xbox One, 6 teraflops. The PS4 Pro, 4.2 teraflops. So it's a very powerful instance that you will be using.
If you could... Oh, something just started leaking. I need something for the pain. One more thing. About the deal. I mean it. You tell anyone about this, I'm dead. I'm begging you. I got a way of getting people what they need. You don't say anything, I can help you out.
Okay. Let me, inventory. Huh. Ew. Well, I tried to give you some painkillers, but apparently I can't. Now, and as a matter of fact, some would say, well, you know, you're an Xbox guy. Do you really want this to succeed? And this, that. I think it's great. I am a person that reviewed an online console. On live console. Do you remember that thing? On live. I went to their booth at E3. They literally handed me a console. And as I was doing my appointment, they're like, "All right, you want to try this with a press account? We'll give you a press account. You got access to everything forever." Okay, that sounds cool. So my, you know, I think this is fantastic. You know, obviously Microsoft's looking at the same kind of tech. These are two companies that have huge data center infrastructure already built out due to other services that they're already providing. You know, in the case of Google, you've got YouTube, you've got Gmail, you've got their Google Google Docs. You've got all these things, but and then on the Microsoft side, you have obviously their Office 365. They've got their Azure cloud services, Xbox Live. They've built out, you know, all their hosted Exchange services, all that stuff. Both these companies already have huge infrastructure built. Whereas I think that's a problem that Sony may have to overcome. And I know some people are going to be like, but they have PlayStation Now. They already have a streaming service. What the fuck are you talking about? Yes, they bought Gaikai's stuff and built out PlayStation Now on that. The problem is those services were never built to the scale that Microsoft and Google can provide. Seriously. Not built to the scale that those places can provide. So, yes, and I know I keep yawning. I apologize. It happens. So you hear me say that, and I'm glowing, and I know you guys are waiting for the but, like, oh, you know, obviously there's the issue of game ownership. Yeah, that's an issue. It's not a terrible issue, but it's an issue that can be overcome. All right, how's it going? You know, it is something that can be overcome in due time. Can't get into the tattoo place yet.
Hey, how's it going, girl? Oh man, wait! Say that again.
Okay.
Oh man, you're a vampire, aren't you? Hey, I work for a vampire. I don't know how much I should tell you, but oh man, damn! It would be awesome to talk to someone else on the inside. You know what I mean? Oh man.
Okay, this guy's being a little too braggadocious.
Hell yeah! Oh man, I knew it. Oh jeez, I knew you were. I just could tell. Oh man, this is great. And I saw your teeth, and I was like, damn, it was like I could just sense you.
So,
Pleasure to meet you.
obviously,
I'm a ghoul. I didn't know about any of this stuff until a couple of months ago. And this guy just appeared and, well,
so yeah, ghouls are basically those that work for vampires but have not been turned.
goddamn mind. Well, the way it was explained to me, whenever a vampire lets a human drink some of their vampire blood, the human gains a little vampire power, can heal up quick, and that kind of stuff. Jeez, oh man. Then they're a ghoul, and ooh, watch out.
But my problems aren't with the tech. I think the tech is amazing. I want it to work. I want it as a proof of concept to work. I want to see the ability to do that. And hey, it can be a complemented experience. I like having my computer. I like having my Xbox, my PlayStation 4, my Switch. I like having all those different options available. Adding another option to the mix is fine. And like I said, at one point, I had an on-live console here that I had hooked up to my TV. And I enjoyed it. I did not hate my on-live console. I thought the service was cool. You know, I like the ability to, you know, create quick clips and all that kind of stuff. It was really cool. You know, it was just a service ahead of its time. Bandwidth was an issue. I had glitches on it. They were unavoidable. You know, but I liked the interface. I liked the tech. I think, and it was a nice compliment. It helped that I had a press account and I had access to any game on the service. What's this stuff you do?
Man, I really wish I could tell you, but I don't think I'm supposed to. But it's really cool to be talking to you just, well, because I don't get a lot of chances.
So my issue is more, there was some hubris that bothered me from Phil Harrison, formerly of Sony, formerly of Microsoft, now of Google. And
hey, chick, just because I'm a ghoul and you're some cool vampire, you don't need to treat me like crap, okay? Oh man, you make me so mad. Look, I probably shouldn't tell you this, but I'm on a secret mission for my master. Well, it's been great talking to you, man.
he came out and he started talking about the obvious elephant in the room. Do you know the obvious elephant in the room is bandwidth? Here in the United States, broadband level speeds 25 megabits or faster are not available to a large swath of the continental United States, and let us not get started with places like Alaska and Hawaii. So there is an issue that immediately popped into mind seeing this running. It's like, okay, and I don't think they showed us gameplay on anything, which was kind of a bummer. I mean, we saw the Assassin's Creed Odyssey stuff, which was a test that was run last year in August for about a month. People got to test playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey 1080p streaming over the internet through a Google Chrome browser. That's a cool experience. It's pretty awesome. And people seem to enjoy it. The problem I have is that Phil came out and he's like, oh, well, hey, here's the deal. As long as people, if people want this service and they put pressure on the phone companies and the cable companies, they're going to gladly build out the service. And I've heard other people arguing that way too, being like, well, Google's into Google Fiber and they're going to expand everywhere. That's not how this shit works. Look, Google Fiber is available in all of what now? 19 cities? And I'm sorry, let's make that 18, because remember, they're bouncing out of one of their places. So, I think down in Tennessee. So, no. That's not building out fast enough. And then you have...
Please, wait your turn and you'll be seen.
Back off.
Oh, man.
Please, wait your turn and you'll be seen.
What's the hops, bro?
It's not my problem.
Okay, well, I obviously don't have a way to pull a number right now. And that may be the case. And there's the other thing. 5G is coming. 5G is already available. Okay, yes, 5G is available in 4 select cities. And in those cities, the 5G is only available in a small geographic area. For instance, here in Southern California, Los Angeles is one of the 4 markets where 5G is available. The problem is it's available in a super, super small area. I mean, a microscopic area of LA. Also, the equipment that Verizon used to get out in front of everybody and get to 5G first in the home is non-standardized equipment. It all has to be replaced. That's why they haven't spun it out anywhere else. They're waiting for the 5G standard to be finalized by international standards commissions, and therefore they don't want to roll out 5G everywhere and they have to replace a shit ton of equipment. So they figure it's cheaper to only have to replace a handful of units now and then say, hey, by the way, we're ready to roll it out everywhere and send out the standardized equipment properly. That's cool. He also talked about how there were, unlimited data. I mean, because people asked about data caps. He's like, oh, well, again, I think that demand changes people. I mean, look at the cell phone companies. They used to not have unlimited for a while, and now they do have unlimited again. Yes, Phil. Yes, they do. Cell phone companies have unlimited data until you read the fine print, like for Verizon, and their standard quote-unquote unlimited plan allows for 22 gigs of data at 4G speeds, and then you get throttled to 2G. Not intermittently, not when busy. You just straight up get throttled to 2G internet speeds. I know this because we tried one of those unlimited lines for a vendor that needed to have, that required in their contract to have internet at the job trailer. I bought one of those unlimited hockey pucks because I was like, I don't want them feeding off of our corporate data account. So I was like, I'm going to have this as a separate thing. We got out there 11 days into the month. All of a sudden they're like, why is it nothing works? We have these apps that we have to transfer data on. And it's like, oh, this sucks. Now, I could get more unlimited data, although that seems really odd, doesn't it? Saying I need more unlimited because it's like, isn't unlimited unlimited? It's not. Of course, they have plans that go much higher, but you have to pay much more money for those. So that's kind of a bummer. I do not want to talk to her yet.
Hey, baby. Need company?
Just got to use the back door. So, fact of the matter is, that's a problem. Phil. Yes, they can change their mind. Like right now, I'm looking at the 5G home thing. It's not available in my area. I wish it was. I would love to use it. I would love to have it. I would immediately switch my broadband connectivity if I had access to it. But I don't. Yep, this guy's creepy looking.
Next up for the needle? Your donation could save a life, you know. Oh, but isn't it a little late for altruism? I don't think you're here to give blood at all. I don't buy it, Betty. I bet you're here to take blood. Am I right? Right down to business. None of this pretend I don't drink blood shit. Very refreshing to find a decisive customer. I respect that. So, what'll it be? If you have to ask.
I do not have the money for that. That's okay. You know, but the idea is that it's like, Phil, no, data caps are data caps. They don't go away. They're not going to make them go away.
You would say no to that. Yes.
So, yeah, don't buy into that bullshit at all. I really don't. Ooh, I failed. Oh, wait a minute now. I have 3 points right now. I could improve my lockpick skills. Let's actually save. Can I unlock the doors now? No, I can't unlock anything right now. I'm a pathetic mortal. So I don't buy into that, Phil, that all of a sudden all these data companies are going to be like, oh, sorry, excuse me. We're going to give you unlimited data forever. We must do this because Google wants the games to be played. No, that's not how this is going to work. And again, that becomes the problem. Like, you know, even with 5G, that's a lot of build out, especially in the center of America, in the plain states and whatnot, you know. Are they going to build that all the way out to rural areas? I would guess probably not. So what do you do for those people then? You know, how do they get access to something like this? You know, also it's like, okay, they said, Phil also said in his interview that a 30 gigabit connection down will get you 4K 60 frames per second. Okay. If you're a person that has a 30 megabit connection, that means that you and you alone can be the only thing and only one using that connection to transmit data. If somebody starts impeding on it, you're going to lose the concept of getting 4K and 60 frames. It is going to downscale. Now, is that a bad thing? No. Up until last year at some point, no, I'm sorry. 2017, not 2018. 2017, I bought a 4K television. Up to that point, I had an Xbox One X that I used with a 1080p television, you know. It didn't hurt me. I just wasn't reaping the full benefit of what was available. Actually, I do want to go back down here because I like the music in Asylum. So, and there's places like me that the cable company and the phone company have just straight up just stopped expanding service. They're just like, we're not doing it anymore. We're good. That motherfucker just disappeared. So that's a bit of a problem. Places like mine where we will not get upgrades. I live in, and it's, what's worse is I have no competition in my complex. Like some people, you know, I tell people, hey, I got a 25 megabit internet connection. It sucks from AT&T Uverse. I like their cable. I just don't like their internet. Well, why don't you ask them when they're going to be expanding it? They're not. Why don't you switch to cable? I can't. This is an AT&T exclusive property. The cable jacks are not tied into the cable system anywhere. There's no way to bring it in. I love chiasm.
What do we have here?
Oh, it's Jennifer.
Straight out of life and into my club?
No, not Jennifer.
You little girl, like fabric softener do on freshly made Astro.
I don't want to call her Jennifer. That is not her name.
I'm the finger down your spine when all the lights are out, and the name on all the men's room walls. When I pout, the whole world tries to make me smile, and everyone always wants to know who is that girl.
Aren't you the tease? Jeanette.
And this bit of chaos crammed in a certifiable giggle is my club. I just love to give you funny feelings all night, sweetheart, but I really must trouble with some business. We'll reunite sweet and soon, I promise.
Just make me high. I to eat myself alive. Eternally, this much in me to see. Left me behind.
I just remembered I'm not gay.
Oh, yeah.
My boyfriend will be back any minute.
Yeah, she won't talk to me right now. I think at some point she will. Let's dance.
I don't think so, but
Hey, this game in yes, and that's the other thing. Like I said, but hey, Phil already said, oh, they'll modify that. Demand will make them change. No, it won't. Demand will not make it change. Trust me. I think many people have called and complained about data caps, and guess what? They haven't gone away. As a matter of fact, by the way, this song is Isolated by Chiasm. When this game first came out, this song got me into Chiasm real hard. Also, how is it in 2004, 3 years before Mass Effect came out, they made better dancing animations in this game than they could for Commander Shepard? That's real sad. But the big thing is, I don't have a way to better my internet connection. And I don't know if I ever will. I have complained to my landlords. Every time I sign my lease, I say, hey, can't you guys do something about the terrible internet speeds that we get here? They look at me with dead fucking eyes. And I can't go to Spectrum, which literally, if I lived a block over in the houses that are behind my apartment complex, I could get 900 megabit internet access. Also, to avoid overages, and believe me, in this household, here's the thing. My Xbox One, well, Xbox in general, they give you a it gives you a readout of how much data you have transferred over a 30-day period. Okay, you get as a matter of fact, I don't know if I can reach a controller right now, otherwise I would check something. Oh man, I'm not gonna, oh damn, I just tossed my thing here. Hold on a second. Oh geez. Hold on, I'm going to check something here real quick. Oh man, I think I just knocked my green screen out of alignment. Yes, I did. I see what happened. I'm going to fix it real quick. There we go. So, watch my dancer for a second. Okay. I'm going to look at something real quick in here and tell you. And you're going to be floored. Okay, hold on. While you guys look at that, as I turn this down temporarily, I'm gonna go to, I'm over on my Xbox input right now, and I'm looking for something specific. Oh god, I got an itch on my back right now. See, and my yawns went away. let's see. Okay, I want to read you these. By the way, this is just my Xbox One X in the living room. Here's my historical data. July 8th to July 31st, 521.38 gigabytes. 7/31 to 8/31, 793.23 gigabytes. 8/31 to 9/30, 2018, 548.12 gigabytes. 9/30, 2018 to 10/31, 2018, 521.17 gigabytes. 10/31, 2018 to 11/30, 2018. Granted, that was during October into November when we had a lot of new games coming out. 807.7 gigabytes. 12/31, 2018 to 1/31, 2019. 646.02 gigabytes. And finally, 1/31, 2019 to 2/28, 2019. 676.64 gigabytes. Currently, for the period from 2/28 to 3/31, 2019, I have 581.63 gigabytes. Okay? That is literally a lot. That's crazy, right? And here's the thing. So I subscribe AT&T, and remember, that is just my Xbox One X. That doesn't include what my PC transfers, what my cell phones and stuff and tablets that are linked to it transfer, what my kid's Xbox tablet and his phones and stuff transmit. So I easily transmit probably 1.5 terabytes to 2 terabytes of data in this house a month. Okay? So AT&T has a data cap limit of 1 terabyte. So you must be thinking, I'm so fucked every month. I would be. Except I subscribe to the highest cable package available. I submit to the highest cable package that I can buy. My cable and my internet together cost me over $200 a month. But it is cheaper for me to subscribe to that high tier package because with that I get unlimited uncapped internet. No data transfer caps. It is cheaper for me to do that than pay the overages. The overages in my house would cost me probably $1,000 a month. You know? That's ridiculous. I don't want to pay that.
Sheesh, is this place always so dead? I thought coming to LA was going to be more exciting than Arizona. I didn't come all this way just for watered down booze.
Maybe I'm what you're here for.
Goodbye.
Damn, she just shut me the fuck down.
What can I get you, beautiful? You sure? I make a mean Bloody Mary. Yeah, too bad you ain't gonna find out. No offense, but I got beautiful women around me all day, and you just ain't up to snuff. Now can I get you something? Easy, girl. This ain't that kind of establishment. I'm not one to hit a woman, but you're pushing it.
So it's crazy. You know, the fact that I pay over $200 a month for cable and internet, and I'm paying for all this ridiculous cable channels, and that most of them I don't watch because it's cheaper than paying for the overages. It's nuts. My wife asks all the time, maybe we can cut the cable. I'm like, if we cut the cable, we're going to actually end up paying more in data overages.
Hey there, need a date?
You know, it's a problem. It's a real fucking problem, you know, in this country, the internet situation. And there's no motive for these companies to change anything because they're not public utilities in the sense of like when you go like for years and years, and I haven't lived there in many years, but like television in Britain, you buy a TV license. It's the reason that BBC One and BBC Two, and now I guess there's a BBC Three, that they didn't have commercials. And I still don't think they have commercials. It was the reason that when that Doctor Who came out a few years, well, now it's probably about 5 years ago, it was free if you were, you know, if you were a resident of England because you paid a TV license to the BBC. They made that game. It was free and available to anyone. You know, but here in the, and so like telephone, British Telecom, you know, I believe, I don't know if it is anymore, but at least back in the day in the 70s and the 80s, it was owned by the British government. You know, I believe the same is true of Japan, of most of Asia, you know, so many things. It's all owned by the government. So the government will expand those utilities. They don't have to answer to shareholders, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But here in the United States, Frontier, which I guess bought most of Verizon's landline or land-based services, there is no incentive. They answer to shareholders before they answer to consumers. That is why fiber is installed in fits and starts with Frontier. And apparently they haven't done much in the last couple years because they're not seeing the return on the investment when they in the places they have installed fiber. That's a huge fucking problem. For Stadia to succeed, it needs to have a strong install base of people that can play it at at that 4K and 60 frames. If that can be and hey, this is not me picking on Google. This goes the same for Xbox. I need them to be able to either convince or work with a partner or something to get that out to the masses at a higher speed and bandwidth than what I currently have. And that's the problem. Even with locating, you know, Google talked about how, oh, well, we're gonna be at the data center level, and it's like, yeah, but that still doesn't do jack shit for me on a 25 megabit connection. If anybody in my house starts using the internet to do other things, I am going to see a downgrade in quality. And at that point, if I can't play at even at 1080p, then why would I even use the service? And granted, I could be the fringe case. You know, maybe they've got enough support in the major metropolitan areas where people can get decent speeds, that maybe those in, you know, although it's not a minority, it's roughly 70% of the United States does not have access to what's classified as broadband internet, which is 25 megabits or faster. And technically, I don't have 25 megabits. I have 24. It is why my bill says high-speed internet and not broadband, because technically it does not classify. Now, I am, you know, and that's the problem. And here's the other thing. Phil Harrison admitted. Somebody asked, How much data is this transferring on an hourly basis? Again, because of your data caps. Cat, you have a 350 gigabit a month data plan. If you are playing this at 4K, 60 frames a second, you are transmitting 20 gigabytes in an hour. That is a lot. If you were to try to play Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and you know how long that game is, you would run out of data before you finished the fucking game. That is a problem. That is a problem that needs to be solved. It's not going to, though. Utility companies only have to appease their shareholders. If there is no money in them continuing to advance the product, they are not going to advance the product. They have no incentive to do so.
What'll it be, honey? You're the health inspector. You know, at least the last health inspector had the decency to make it clear when he was asking for a bribe. Here's $50. I get to live the dream for another exciting month. Yay.
All right. I got $50.
I'm eating.
I don't think I can go anywhere else. And I don't think there's much I can do in this place right now.
Something I can help you with, I guess. I don't see how that's any business of yours. Goodbye, then.
Huh. Yeah, and like I said, I want the tech to succeed. Microsoft has the same vested interest in making this succeed, and all that is grand and cool and awesome and wonderful and, you know, super green, as they would say in The Fifth Element. But the problem is, unless you can make this happen or get 5G to roll out quicker. I've told my wife, I have preached, I mean, 5G is cool in the sense that nominal speeds are 300 megabit, but you can see up to a gigabit of speed. I don't know if that's true. I'm sure that's probably in a best laid plan situation of, optimal signal placement and whatever. But I would drop probably both my cable and my internet from AT&T and get that 5G. Now, they advertise that as 5G unlimited. I have looked at the fine print. They do not throttle you. It is unlimited, and it's fairly cheap. If you're already a Verizon customer, it's $50 a month. That's all. That is great. But again, we've seen the cell companies do this in the past. When 3G was huge, unlimited data on your phones was a no-brainer. 4G came, and it started off with unlimited data. My wife and my son have a pair of those grandfathered in lines. They do not get throttled. They pay through the nose. It's $60 a line each, so $120 plus taxes and fees and licensing and whatnot. It's very expensive. So there's nothing saying that in the future they may say, I think I am going to change this, and now there will be a fee if you want to go over. There will be a fee, and you will not get unlimited data. That kind of sucks. You seem to be wearing a lot less clothing, young lady, than most people around here. Not that we're complaining, I'm just...
Honey, looking for a date? For you, honey? 50 American dollars.
Oh, 50 American dollars. Not just 50 bucks. 50 American dollars.
Hey, Pappy, need a date?
I will pass for now. And I think I'm going to save it here. And probably call it for the evening. I have yelled and screamed, and I can actually feel my throat getting itchy in the back. I just wanted to let people know that I was a bit irritated. And a bit sad, you know. I really want the game to be, you know, or I'm sorry, I want people to get something like Stadia. I want people to get something like Project xCloud. Those sound awesome. I just don't trust. And let's switch over here to and I'm going to mute the game music. So, you know, I want things to work. I want this all to work for people. I want this to succeed. Like I said, it benefits Microsoft. It benefits Google for this to work. Number one, they can get cheaper consoles out the door. They don't even need consoles necessarily. There's still going to be the question about like ownership and digital rights, but here's the honest reality. As someone that literally has a Steam library that is valued anywhere between, I think, $4,000 or $5,000 and $12,000 because of all the money I've spent on games or received in review code and whatnot and whatever, I've bought into the digital age a long time ago. I am way past worrying about ownership rights and whatnot. I have already sold my soul to the digital devil. I occasionally buy a disc from Best Buy because I still have Gamer Club unlocked until December of this year. So I get that 20% off. So sometimes I'm like, you know, 20% is kind of worth it for a new game. If I can go in and buy, you know, Sekiro or Dead or Alive or something like that and get 20% off, that's a good deal. It beats paying full price at digital, especially if it's a game maybe I don't enjoy it after. Like I have Tomb Raider. Oh God, what was the one that came out last year? And I'm forgetting the name of it. Not Rise of the Tomb Raider, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I did not like that. I didn't buy the DLC. I don't know why I haven't taken the disc to like GameStop or somewhere and just traded it the fuck in. I didn't enjoy it. It wasn't fun. But in all seriousness, I want this tech to succeed. I think it's cool. Especially as somebody that primarily uses either a Windows PC or a Microsoft Xbox One console, and probably Scarlet when it comes out. It behooves me to want to see that process succeed. If I could pay a little extra or get some sort of combined service package that has Gold, xCloud, and Game Pass all in one bundle, there's something to that. The fact that at that point I can literally game anywhere. I have access to my Xbox library anywhere. The idea that I can be playing on my console and then hit the road and jump on my Android phone with an Xbox One controller attached in Bluetooth mode and pick up where I left off and keep playing and having a good time with it, no less. You know, it's like, as long as, you know, speeds are good, which normally on a 4G phone they are. You have pretty decent speeds. And it's like, that's awesome. That future is great. If we can fix the bandwidth solution. Now, granted, in that case, you don't worry about it at home because it's like, hey, I've got my console. I'm okay. But still, there's the issue of, unless you have one of those grandfather plans, you're going to play a game for a couple hours and get throttled the fuck down. And if you have data caps, it's going to kill you. And if you don't have access to real great internet, it's going to kill you. I don't buy the hype. And that's before you get to the idea of, oh, what about digital ownership? Which, again, doesn't bother me too much. Although, at least with Steam, I feel like I have something tangible. I don't. But I feel that way. I can see the product on my computer when it is done installing. Whereas, if I buy a game, like people that would buy games through OnLive or, you know, through Google at some point, if they ever give us a pricing structure, then it's a little different, because at that point I buy something and I don't see that tangible result on my end. I don't see the game load. I can't go into a folder and look at it and the bonus content and all that stuff that might be in there. I don't see any of that. And that's still a little weird. It's not terrible, it's just weird. You know? It's weird. So, yes, I would love to see this work. I just don't think in our current climate it's going to sell to the masses. When 5G becomes a thing, when it becomes unlimited with no, when we can do it. And here's the thing, guys and gals and everybody in between. There's also the issue of net neutrality and the fact that it basically does not exist in the United States anymore. And if Google has to pay AT&T or Verizon or whoever to get preferred access on those networks, is Google going to eat those costs forever and ever? They might do it in the beginning to get market share and a foothold, but at some point those costs may get passed down to me, the user. You know, and that's the other thing. Is Google going subscription, or are they going purchase? Do I buy the game, or am I just going to do a Game Pass thing, pay $20-$30 a month and get access to, you know, whatever games they're going to give you access to? You know, or is it a tiered system where it's like, hey, you can pay this flat fee and play some games that, yeah, might be a little older, or you can buy, or maybe you can add on to that subscription where it's like, hey, for an extra $10 a month, you can add on access to Doom Eternal. You know. So, you know, we'll see what happens. I'm hoping that it goes for the best. I'm just not trusting enough to think that it will. So, with that said, I'm going to go. I have ranted long enough. Thank you to Sev for the host. And thank you for Kat for hanging around. That would be Rainbow. And I know Rainbow says, no, you don't need to shout me out. But I do. You streamed for a bit. I want to give you a shout out just in case you decide to go back and do it some more. I am Joe Haygood, aka mclazyj. Please make sure to hit me up on Twitter. Please, if you have not and you've been lurking, and I do know we've had a chunk of lurkers out there, and hopefully you've enjoyed some of this content from Vampire the Masquerade. Thank you for watching. Please follow the channel. It's helpful. It makes me appreciate it. I definitely appreciate that. It's awesome. And if you really enjoy it, make sure you subscribe. That's cool too. But beyond that, thanks to everybody that has followed or that is following the channel, and we will be back tomorrow night. We also have a stream happening on Sunday morning. It's going to be myself and Sev and maybe somebody else. We're batting around either Sea of Thieves morning, or Division 2 morning. Division might be a little more difficult, but we're going to see what we can do. And tomorrow night, I might play more of Vampire the Masquerade. We're going to play around and see what happens. Until then, though, thank you everybody for watching. I'm going to see if I can find somebody that we can raid real quick. Oh, I'm not exactly going to bed just yet. If you notice, I have stopped yawning. I just cannot sit with this keyboard in my lap anymore. It is getting uncomfortable. I'm going to see if we see anybody in my list right off the bat that I can transfer some people to. And I do. I'm going to transfer to Xantham Tobecca. Xantham Tobecca. So let's get to the right window. And I'm going to say... 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good night, everybody. Enjoy some Sekiro Shadows Die Twice with Xantham Tobecca. You've been a great audience. Bye.